like it took only a bit. What I felt was just the perfect.
This is my place. I love lamps.
Oh, that looks scary.
And a gene and a lamp, right?
And
Live.
we
What you
are
doing?
live. Welcome, wonderful and
okay.
wacky viewers of the World Wide Web, to another episode of the Somnium Show. Woo! With the coolest people on the internet.
The Never's Tale
Yeah.
show.
Ooh, yeah. Bro, it's epic, magnificent.
Can't see it.
I can see my toes on the floor.
It's so awesome to have you wonderful viewers today with us as we discuss the mythical and magical wonders of folklore in different parts of the world, baby. Woo! We're gonna start off this conversation with, what do you guys point? Oh, what the heck? Yo, is that his foot? Bro, look at his foot.
Godzilla.
Oh, no, Godzilla.
Look at his foot. Look at his foot. Look at his foot. Look at his foot. Foot. Look at his foot. Look at his foot.
Awesome, guys, let's begin. Start it
Okay.
off.
So
What for blast?
Here's what I had in mind to talk about. You know, like for thousands of years, people believed in things like fairies and gnomes and dwarves and dragons and boogeymen and things like that. And then along came the industrial age, and we invented gizmos, and we have our face glued to the TV screen or the computer monitor all the time. And we decided that we can't believe in stuff like that anymore because we're too smart. We're too intelligent to believe in fairy tales. And I wonder, you know, how a lot of these, here comes Arthur, how a lot of these stories got started and what caused people to start believing in things like fairies and dwarves and gnomes and things like that. And,
Good question.
you know, most urban legends and folklore, there's some truth to them, you know. Somewhere way back in time, something happened. Somebody started these stories. I think some of them are like, you know, mothers telling their children, you know, eat your porridge or the smorgasbord will get you. You know, it's like stories they invented to scare children from going into the woods or something like that.
Yeah,
But
for
others
sure.
are things that people just believe so much for thousands of years. Some of the stories became part of their religions, and you know, they did, especially rural people who are closer to nature and closer to, you know, other living things. They still believe in some of these things, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. That and also urban legends, which are sort of the same thing, but urban legends are sort of a modern version of that. You know, like the stories that people believe to a certain point, you know, for fun mostly. Like kids will go out riding around and they'll say, oh, don't go on this road, there's a headless ghost, you know, at the bridge, and they'll go there to scare themselves and, you know, have a good time. But I'm wondering, you know, what started these stories, how they start, and that's sort of the basis of what I want to talk about today.
Not
Yeah,
kids like me.
so
My
interesting.
parents told me stories. I'd be like, I want to meet the headless man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay, let's
Curious.
start it off. So the origin and beginnings of folklore and myths. Does anyone know any interesting myths that are cool, or some folklore they'd like to share? Yeah, Ardo.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm in Northern California, and you guys have all heard of Sasquatch, right? Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Bigfoot,
the
yeah.
Yeti. Or maybe that's a
I mean,
different
it's
species.
supposedly there's Bigfoot, big feet, Bigfoots. What do you say? Yeah, all over Northern California, and up into Oregon, Washington, and I've always been kind of fascinated by those sort of stories. But unfortunately, there's obviously never been any good concrete evidence of their existence. Just all kinds of stories and hints and stuff. And there's one, like a lot of the cannabis industry started in Northern California too. So there's like been generations of people up in the hills growing massive amounts of cannabis for the black market originally. Now it's kind of changing over as it's becoming more legal. But there were, I heard of stories of cannabis farmers, protecting their property and setting up scenes of Bigfoot, like destroying trees and stuff like that to keep people away from going into their farms.
Interesting.
There's actually a documentary. I think it's called Sasquatch or Bigfoot. I forget what
No
network it's
way.
on, but it's an investigative journalist investigating the murder of 2 people supposedly by Bigfoot. But I don't want to spoil it for you, but you should watch.
So Bigfoot was a made-up legend by people in the cannabis industry to keep people off their cannabis farms.
No,
That's
man, it goes
crazy.
way back to the
No,
Native Americans.
no, it's much
it
older
goes
than
way
that.
back.
To the Native
Yeah.
Americans made
Native
it up to
Americans
protect
believed
their
in it, too.
cannabis farms. Whoa,
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that could be.
Okay.
You know, Eastern Ohio is Bigfoot country too. Supposedly, there's even a
Oh my
park that says
gosh.
it's Bigfoot country. You know, they got signs all through the park, about Bigfoot. And
I bet it's a big
it's wilderness.
i-
I mean, it's a
industry, right?
wild country.
I bet there's a lot of
Not really.
Really?
No.
Isn't
No,
there
I
another
mean-
similar one about the Yeti that's
Yeah.
in like
Yeah,
Tibet,
it's
northern
supposedly it's
hemisphere?
about the same thing. The Yeti and the Sasquatch and the Bigfoot are just
Yeah.
different names for more or less the same thing.
Yeti,
A friend of
abominable
mine-
Snowman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Abominable
Okay.
Snowman.
Maybe
was
it's just the
once
polar.
A friend of
Carrier.
mine is so interested. We were almost ready to go on an expedition for a couple of years to search for Bigfoot because we both believed in it pretty much. We were going to go we were in Colorado, and I don't know where we were going to go, but
That's awesome.
So do you still believe in them?
We said, let's-
in,
let's-
in Bigfoot?
It's
Uh,
like Men in Black.
kinda. It's, so many people have seen it or supposedly have seen it that makes you wonder. You can't say it doesn't exist until you try to find out for yourself. That's the way I feel
It goes
anyway
back
about
to
it.
the Native Americans,
Yeah,
The
it goes
Native
back a
Americans
long
had
way.
it, so
What was it called
I mean,
by
there
the
is, there,
Native
is,
Americans?
there is a lot of theories. If you read because there is like history and then there is alternative history, and there is a lot of evidence or supposed evidence that humans used to be much bigger and everything were just human race in general was much bigger. And we're building all this stuff. We're building bigger things and some of that. So that's kind of like alternative history, and that could be something which is connected to that, right? Because some of the species could have
be.
survived or evolved or whatever.
People
but-
believed in giants too. a long
Also,
time ago.
there's that's a very interesting point, right? Do you know why animals were actually able to get so huge during the time of the dinosaurs? Because there was actually more oxygen in the
correct.
atmosphere. Yeah, so if
Correct.
human
Huh.
beings did exist in that, and we probably did, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's a huge chunk of
Some
alternative
hominid.
history because if you start looking at some facts, and if you try to put together some of the points, there's just some of the things they don't add up
Yeah.
in the way how we are taught the history. And I'm not saying it's deliberately like this. This is a big debate whether it's deliberately done like this. I think it's just because we don't know better. And because we don't know better, and we as human beings, also scientists are also human beings, we try to fill the gaps. And the point is, when we start filling the gaps, we have no clue. People don't know how old are the pyramids in Egypt because we can guess, but the discrepancy in the analysis of the stones is plus minus 500,000 years. That's not you can't identify the stone or age of the stone by precisely of 1,000 year. No. You have half a million years difference, and I mean 500,000 years is a lot of years. Okay, so we don't know what happened there and why things were built like they were built and things like that. So there's a lot of questions we don't know the answers, and that's why some of the things. So we say the saying, right? In every joke, there is a part of there's part of every joke which is actually a joke. That's kind of where where kind of whenever you hear some myth, it could actually be taken by by the truth, and you don't know what truth is there. It's you just you have no clue, right? So I think that's kind of an interesting part, but definitely there is.
Yeah.
One second, guys.
Yeah, like the pyramids and the Sphinx, they actually existed before the ancient Egyptians. The Egyptians just, furnished and stuff. But there's like, for example, there was the Greek historian Herodotus. I think his name was Herodotus. Don't quote me on that. But he's a very famous Greek historian. This is kind of like a crazy idea, but he spoke about it and it's there. There's actually a bunch of catacombs underneath the Sphinx that are like full of these like ancient wonders and these cool technologies and stuff. So here's the thing: the government of Egypt will not allow any archaeologists to actually go in and like find out what's really going on. Because if they did, if the ancient Egyptians, it's kind of like their culture, right? That they built the pyramids, but if you actually look, a lot of the stuff that is told to us is just plain wrong. And like if you look,
it's still their people, right?
Exactly, it's plain
it's
wrong.
made by
wrong,
people who have professions that are trying to prove and build a name for themselves. So it's like
exactly.
I remember.
And I mean, we saw that in like I remember the leak of the universities where about the climate change and the degrees changing on the Earth, right? We saw this huge leak of dump of emails between the scientists and how they were talking about like
Fixing
someone like made a measurement, and then someone had like a wrong measurement, and they said it doesn't matter, let's put it like this because it's filled the narrative better.
Yeah.
And like there's a bunch of people, the group of people, and I'm not saying they're doing it always from the bad from the bad perspective. They just try to preserve their work, like their status, their salary, like it doesn't matter what it is. But the problem is if we give too much power to those people in terms of the influence on the what is being written, how it's being taught in the schools, and suddenly you have something which is being taught and we are not even 100% sure that it's true.
Yeah.
And you can if one country adopts some idea and starts teaching it in schools, that generation of kids will be taught the same thing, while it's maybe completely wrong.
And they'll fight for it
and
too.
it might be an accident, and it might be on purpose. We don't know, but I'm just saying that this is the case.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things in the world which, if you think about it, like just doesn't make sense. And yeah.
I was just going to say, I think what's so dangerous about that is we teach people to quit wondering and quit being inquisitive about things.
We
Exactly.
figured it out. We know
Science
what's
just
going
presents
on.
the
I
magic
just
answer.
wanna know,
Here's the
like,
answer.
Why Santa doesn't bring me presents? Because I'm a really good
Because
girl.
you're a bad girl.
At
That's
least he
why.
doesn't bring you coal,
You're bad.
Oh.
You get it.
I might have
got a
found
hump
some
on
No,
holes
but
Mercy.
it's
in
true.
my-
Like I agree with you,
in my
100%. Like we are now being discouraged to question the status quo, and that is a
Right.
very dangerous path.
Yeah.
Like it is the same in schools. It is the same. It is like if it's something which doesn't fit the general narrative, man, you might be cancelled. You might suffer. Your family might suffer. Like all of those things could just happen to you, and people are just staying quiet. Many people don't even think. By the way, we don't teach kids critical thinking in school. Like, why don't we do that? Like, why don't we teach kids to question things? Like, why don't we teach kids to wonder, like, why is it happening like this? Who did that? Who said that? Like, it's not being taught in school. I can see it on my kids. Like, they're not being taught to like debate too much, or
No.
question. It's more of it's okay. Let's wait.
Sorry.
for the
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Telephone call. No problem. No problem.
Hello, yeah, I'm busy.
It's CIA, man. Take it. They're like, Ultra, are you streaming right now? You have to end
Ultra,
the stream. It's like, I'm not
quit
going to.
talking.
Okay, we're coming. Send the troops.
We order you to quit talking, Ultra.
Exactly. No, but I agree, and it's like, again, there's so many things which we assume. Like, there's so many assumptions which are being taught as the truth. It's simply like Egyptian pyramids was the highest buildings in the world until like 1901, if I'm not mistaken.
the
something
Empire
like that,
State
or 19,
Building?
1912.
Sounds
Yeah,
the
I
Eiffel
mean,
Tower,
No, no,
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Empire State. Like, can you imagine? So we are being told that the humans 5,000 years ago like built something which is like we were not able to replicate for the next like 5,000. Like, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. And all the precision
think-
they use and blah blah blah. It's strange.
Do you think over the years people added to the pyramids too, like rebuilt them
Yeah.
and repaired
Doesn't
them
seem
and
like
just
this.
kept
I mean,
them?
they did add some
No?
other next to them. You can see
Right.
the difference between those original ones and then the others which were built, later. How people try to mimic it. Yes, that happened. People
Yeah,
tried to mimic that because
the
they were
Nubians.
but the original ones, they are there and they are very different from what people tried to build later. And also, I want to say, like, have you seen those? I don't remember where it is exactly. It's in Argentina, I think, right? Where those huge
Yeah.
signs written in the earth, which are only seen from the airplane, from
Yeah,
like
the
above.
Nazca lines.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah,
got
yeah.
that
Nazca
too.
lines.
How
Yeah.
can you
in
how
Peru.
Yeah.
how can this be explained? Like, I'm sorry, like, try to explain me this. The problem is, if you
Bro,
cannot
they
just
use the
explain
drone,
one
bro.
thing like
Come
this,
on. They
then
use the drone.
What?
They use the drone, man. Like, you use
Of
the
course,
Train
but what I'm
mice.
saying, like, I'm
Train
saying, like,
mice
if this couldn't
drug
be
trap chalk
explained,
around.
then everything else doesn't make sense too. Because if you cannot explain one
Yeah.
thing like this, then obviously something happened which we have no idea. But if we, if we assume this is the case, that we have no idea about something happening, then we should assume that we don't know much more things than only that. But nobody explained this. Nobody explained why these things are there. Only seen from the airplanes from like 10 kilometers above the ground. Like, what the hell? And from space. Like, okay. Like, how can you even, because people they didn't have, like, they were drawing, but they didn't have anything to check how, like, they're drawing. You know what I mean? Like, how is it correct? Maybe you're wrong. Like, but the drawings are pretty good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when
so
I was
cool.
in. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
Archer.
please, Oli, please. Please go ahead. I want to hear.
Oh, Archer just made me think of the drawing, like the cave paintings that were like the first film work.
Yeah,
you
they were
know,
like in
when
France,
the lights and
the oldest-
shadows played.
Oh, those ones in
yeah,
France are beautiful.
Those cave paintings, and then they like
They're, like,
move
so
with
deep
the light,
inside a
like
cave.
with the firelight. They're animated.
No,
The
what?
shadows make it look
Really?
like the horses
Wow.
are running and stuff. Yeah, and they didn't
Oh,
realize
wow.
this until
Wow, I've never seen
recently
this.
that they were actually making animations like for entertainment. They
What
thought it
the
was just
hell?
like,
It's like
I never
primitive,
heard that.
stupid
That's
cavemen.
crazy.
Like, oh, this is what we see outside, but they were actually like making entertainment.
Yeah, maybe I think we were smarter, way smarter, until they started to put fluoride in our water. I think.
Okay, that's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, like wait.
over here in
I
government.
just wanted to say one thing. Like, this has reminded me of. Remember when I was in university, right? University. It makes me think of, they allow you to be just smart enough to do your job, but dumb enough so you don't really know what's
Yeah.
going on. My first year in biology class, we had to make a project about GMOs, genetically modified organisms, and how good and awesome they were. And I'm just thinking about it now, and I'm like, wow, well, it was like brainwashing. Like, they tried to brainwash us the whole time. And there were like so many instances of that. There was this one time as well, I was in a history class, and we were taking Canadian history during World War II, and how the Japanese were put in internment camps. They were treated like shit. They had everything taken away from them, right? And the professor in the class, he's like, it wasn't a big deal, it wasn't a big deal. But then the teacher's assistant, who was there at the like after the class, he was like, I can't believe the professor was speaking like that. His wife is from Japan, and it was like the complete opposite of what he was saying. So I was like, I realized, I was like, wow, like it's not true. You have to come to your own conclusions yourself. And the most diabolical part about it, especially in university, is when people learn these things that they take in class and stuff, it becomes ingrained in themselves. It becomes
Yes.
actually a part of
Yes.
their
Yeah.
very identity. And it's like, when you talk to them
Yes.
about it, they defend it, they fight for it, and it's like,
Yeah, exactly. That's like, again, there's nothing wrong to question things. Like, it's okay, you know. And we should not be afraid to be like dumb or some to look like dumb. No, it's fine. It's fine to ask like, do we really believe that like pyramids were done for like as a grave for some like, you know, it doesn't make sense. Like at least from what, you know, what is there. Maybe it's for something different.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You see?
The sign.
It is. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm telling you,
God,
it is.
it's
Yeah.
spoken.
They're telling us. They're speaking to us. They're like, it was. It really was. I think they were
No,
like.
there's a lot
you
of
know-
rabbit holes. Like there's a lot
Yeah.
of rabbit holes, and I think what I like about like Joe Rogan is pretty good in covering them, at least giving them the voice, and giving them the airtime to for people to. That's why Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan. That's why he's
Yeah.
so popular, because he's not afraid to ask people different opinion, and he's listening, and he's, you know, talking to them. While for some it might say, oh my God, this guy is saying completely nonsense. But it's okay because he's learning, and he doesn't need to believe all of the things that people are saying to him, but he's listening to them, and maybe he learns something new from them. That's what's amazing about him. That's why he's so popular. That's why people love to come to his show, and that's why people, you know, listen to his show, because he's open to all the ideas. He just want to listen and learn. And of course, he has his own beliefs, but these beliefs are always shaping. They're changing. And he's kind of
That's the key to be changing all the time. Like, you know, like. That's what we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're not like, you know,
Like it happened to me. In my
life is
too, like,
change.
it did.
Life is change. If change isn't happening, then life isn't happening. Life is just a constant changing all the time.
Exactly.
You know, over here in the United States, we have thousands of these giant earthen mounds. You know, people used to call them Indian burial mounds, but even though a lot of them aren't. And there's giant earthworks like Newark earthworks. Here in Ohio, we have had over 1,000 different mounds, but a lot of them have been destroyed by farmers and things. But people believe, you know, they call them Indian mounds, but they asked the early settlers, asked the natives, you know, what they were, and the natives, Indians, whatever, they just said, I don't know. You know, they didn't build them. They've been here for so long that they don't know where they came from either. So there's a lot to learn from those, you know, and they're not all burial mounds either. Some of them appear to be like forts or just walled cities or whatever. We don't know. There's no way of knowing. You know?
Wow. Hey, how about we all
the
go
serpent
around
mounds?
and let's
Yeah,
all
I've been-
speak
Serpent Mound, yeah, is another one.
about some
Yeah,
interesting
we have effigy mounds too.
folklore or myth or maybe even a conspiracy theory that we've been like thinking about. Something that like
Yep.
we've been questioning reality about. WooferBlast,
What's that?
please go first. What's some new, interesting, wild thing that's been on your mind?
Well, those mounds, I've visited a lot of these mounds, and they're strange to think about, you know, what they were for. But like I was saying, some of them aren't mounds; they're whole walled enclosures and effigies in some of them. And they've found some burials in some of the mounds, but if they look at them, they've excavated some of them. They can tell that over the years, over the thousands of years probably, different cultures have added to the mounds eventually and kept them up. You know, added some dirt, you know, kept them from eroding and protected them. And you have to wonder why. You know, why these places were sacred to people and what they were really for. Just wondering.
Wow, that's fascinating. We're gonna move on to Oli. You make me think of those Leyland
Yeah.
lines. It's this thing I wanna speak
Yeah.
about. Yeah, that's really cool.
Okay.
Oli, what's some new interesting anything that's been making you like look at reality in like interesting ways?
I'm reading this cool book by Rick Rubin about creativity, and he's talking about like a lot of cool things that, you know, most people don't really consider the creative process, like channeling and, you know, tapping into source and things like that. And it just got me thinking about like just Pachamama, like kind of like the archetypes for Earth and Source, and how people take ayahuasca to like, stimulate their DMT and all that, and they have all these crazy breakthroughs like emotionally, and you know are cured from insomnia and all these psychological things. And it's really interesting to me, like there's so many archetypes for different things, but like in the back of our mind, just through our DNA, I think all these characters like Pachamama, even like the big bad wolf, and all these
Yeah.
myths like elves and
One.
fairies, they all have like so much connotation in our subconscious, and if we really meditate on them, we can unlock like this like flood of creativity,
Yeah, that's the
just
basis
by thinking about them,
of the occult
focusing on them.
and sorcery. You study an archetype. Let's say you want to summon Thoth, right? You read everything you can about him. You get to know him on an intimate level, and then when you summon him, it's as if you're allowing your subconscious mind to bring him into being. It's like talking. It's like giving like the source a form to actually converse with, because it can be anything. It's yeah, that's very,
Yeah.
very
Over
interesting.
this eclipse season, I've been doing a lot of pretty high magic like this, and different ritual work with others, and
Wow.
I've had like this massive flood of inspiration. I've just been in the studio like
It's
with
amazing.
these words just like coming, and melodies, and all these people are contacting me too, just out of nowhere, like with similar visions, and we're like having the same, like everything's just flowing, and it's really strange. And I've never I've never felt so like connected to myth in a way, like that, like it's very real,
Strength.
whether it's like real in that, we don't see these things that we talk about, but there's a reason that they're in our minds, whatever,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
incredible.
there
whatever
has to
that
be a reason
means.
they're there.
But everything's connected somehow. Yeah.
Amazing.
So I don't know.
amazing.
You know,
that's really cool.
The total eclipse is coming over. I think it's coming through your area. It's coming right past Cincinnati. Just places where you can go to see the complete total eclipse.
So
you
excited.
may be able to see that. It's when is that coming? Sometime next year, I believe it is.
Cool. You're like an astrologer? You should be an astrologer. You'd suit.
No, I just read the internet.
Bro, you're an astrologer. You're an astrologer, bro.
Okay, I'm an astrologer.
That's what astrology is. Being able to know when an eclipse happens, and then everyone else is clueless about it, but you know when it's gonna happen. Then you can, oh, yo, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? That's like the
What?
knowledge astrology.
Look, the dragon's eating the sun.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, wait, I'll make a sacrifice and save it.
The sun is gone. I don't see any sun.
Time to sacrifice some virgins.
Okay, Ardub, your turn.
OG weatherman.
Tell us.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Going back to like what we were talking about before of the pyramids, I think if you go down the rabbit hole of megalithic structures, I don't know if any of you have looked into that, but it's mind-boggling. There are so many all over the planet. I mean, the Giza Plateau gets all the attention for pyramids, but there are pyramids almost, all
Yeah,
over
in
South America. Of course.
Yeah.
There's pyramids
Yep.
in China.
Yeah,
There's
wow, in
pyramids
China, yeah.
North America, and besides pyramids, just it's obvious that there's some technology going way back that we don't have anymore that allowed them to build these things that are just mind-boggling to engineering as we know it now, especially in South America. Some of these
Yeah, they're
structures
like
that-
cut,
there's a place
cut with
in,
like a diamond,
Peru,
like
Saxe Woman. Yeah, it's called Saxe Woman, and they're these massive blocks that are not put together the way you would a normal stone structure. They are almost
yeah,
like
I've
they're
seen those.
melted together. They fit in, and they're like cut out like pieces of a puzzle. And those are the oldest parts. And then the Aztecs built walls on top of those, and they're obviously like more manageable stones. But I mean, the older stuff was way more advanced than the more modern stuff, and that You know, like what was lost? What did they used to know? And I don't know if any of you guys know Graham Hancock.
Yeah.
Graham Hancock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of challenges the like archaeology, the timeline for human development, and his hypothesis is that there was an advanced civilization on Earth before the end of the last ice age, and all that was kind of wiped out. But you know, there's all kinds of myths of an ancient flood
Exactly.
happening,
Yeah.
which would have happened at the end of the ice age, that could have wiped out a lot of stuff, and consequently, a lot of these things could be underwater. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of underwater archaeology trying to find stuff that I'm sure there'll be some discoveries. Maybe they've been made already and it's been covered up. I don't know, but like what was lost? You would think going way
Yeah.
back, things should get much more simpler, but in actuality, there's some very complicated things that
Yeah.
were built a long, long time ago.
Yeah, there was this one
the
found.
pyramids, but
There was this interesting
the pyramids
find.
are such a
they-
weird shape too.
They found it was on this like Greek ship that like they found sunk, and it was basically a system of gears, like a primitive kind of calculating device that was
Oh.
like a computer,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was like these guys had like you know, this is like we're talking about
Exactly.
technology that was present in the 1800s, present in ancient Greece, and it was there, and yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's so much. Keep them dumb enough so they can do their job. That's what we're anyway. Yeah, artific.
I think
artific.
civilizations have come and gone over the years.
Yeah, and then
Artific, yeah. Let's hear from
go.
Artific.
Let's tell us artific. What's something interesting and cool that you've been thinking about lately?
Okay. So, yeah. So actually, Chinese, they had like a really good understanding about how the body works. They used like different ways than we use right now to describe how it functions. So they have like these energies, qi, and so on, and so we laugh at it. But actually, like a lot of the things that they described, they start to be discovered by modern science right now. So like the acupuncture, like the points and stuff, they are a thing. Is real.
I love it.
But like a really interesting thing that sort of blew my mind when I learned about it is that like when you have meat, like there's this white tissue, sort of connective, like tissue that's between organs and like connecting all the things together. And yeah, it was like people thought, or like science thought, that it's just connecting tissue. It's nothing at all. But actually, Chinese, they had this like theory about and this was actually not like a lot of things that Chinese know or knew. They don't like let it go. They keep it like for martial artists. They kept it like in very sort of, it was like sort of onion where different people had access to different information, and there was usually just like one or very few students that got like the truth. They were followers of the line, but yeah, like most of the people didn't get to that information. So it's like they're very protective of all their inventions and the knowledge. So this wasn't actually known very well. But they described like some like special channels, not the one that you know from the acupuncture and the meridians and so on, but like different way how the things are connected and how the energy flows. And actually it's just like very recently with new medical imaging techniques that they discovered that this connective tissue, it has actually channels inside it, and leads like ions and different sort of information. It's not, I think it's still not fully understood what it actually does, but it's like very important like information, sort of superhighway across our
So some
our
kind of
body.
circuitry. Some kind of
Yeah,
circuitry
but
then.
like yeah, with body, these things usually works in very different ways. So it's hard to create the analogies. I don't know so much about it, but yeah, I learned it, and there was actually like some person. I don't know, it was like 60 years ago, I think, and he started like describing some of these things and like with the acupuncture and stuff. And he was actually cancelled back then.
Whoa.
People were actually it's not new invention. It was here all the time with people. So he was cancelled because everyone was like, yeah, he's crazy. No one even bothered to check his theories, and now it's being rediscovered. And like the reason why it's possible to do now is because like before, like all the anatomy or information about the organs and stuff was taken from autopsies. So it was the dead tissue. You was like you can't look into the
Right.
you couldn't back then look into
Because
the
it was
human
dead,
body
yeah.
and say, okay, like, yeah, this is going here and it work like this, because no, it need to first die, and then you was looking at the dead tissue, and all the channels, they just collapsed, so you couldn't see anything on
Wow.
microscope or anywhere. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that are hidden, and yeah, people like Chinese knew, like they didn't have the understanding that we have right now about a lot of things. So they maybe didn't understand all the intricacies, but they understood a lot, and they understood sort of enough to make decisions about their lives and lives of their patients.
Have
So,
you
yeah,
ever heard of
cool stuff.
Qigong? Qigong?
No.
It's like this technique where they're able to actually channel qi through their bodies, and like for example, a guy can hold a bit of paper and actually light it on fire, and he can actually raise, and they've actually found that people can actually, and it's like pretty well known now, that you can actually willfully raise the temperature of your body. You can control your heartbeat. You can even control the circulation. Like I think the human being has like so much potential, like incredible potential, and we can do it, like. And I think yeah, and the Chinese knew about the body's ability to self-actualize and heal itself. Not like now. Now we have like a different system of looking at how health and healing works.
Yeah, like interesting thing, and I think actually like some guys, I think Japanese guy, made a study, and they actually published the paper about it. But yeah, obviously it's not going with the main science, so yeah, it doesn't really go out. But they were like bioscientists, like physicians, and they practice, like Aikido or these things, and they wanted to test the theory that you can actually like influence
Yeah, with the
people
water,
with, like,
right?
this chi, or like that the thing is real, and they actually created like series of experiments. The interesting thing is that actually it works much better if the other person is like can use that. So it's like, if you believe it, then it's sort of like if you are just normal guy and someone does this like some super brutal something, and you just like, what? Huh? What are you doing? You will not be able to feel anything. But if you practice, kung fu or something for 40 years, then you're going to feel it. So it's actually like
So
difficult
you have to be receptive
to
to
do
it then.
experiments on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, they actually created like series of experiments, and they figured out that people that are like artists or like musicians, more like creative people, they're actually more susceptible, and they even like taught people like with meditation and stuff. And yeah, and then they did like these experiments where like the person was somewhere and there was like some mirrors, so they were not able to see if if the other guy is doing something or not, and they tried it, and yeah, got some like positive results, but yeah, who knows? It's just one study, but yeah, I think it would be interesting if like scientists really practiced, like the open mind, and not really just take the like what's right now, what's believed, and took it as true, because yeah, it's not really very scientific.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Especially
just
when
what's
you
Yeah.
yeah, but like I think most of the scientists are maybe like the top ones, sure, but most of the scientists are actually like doing the science
I don't know,
like
man.
not for money, because
I don't
it's
know,
actually
bro.
not very profitable thing
It
to
is.
do.
It is if
be on
you're
university and do
taking a
science.
bribe. Like
I
a
think
a
most
majority
of
of the
studies are
professors.
funded
Yeah.
by
Oh yeah, a majority of
Oh
them.
yeah.
They
yeah.
need to go and
Yeah.
apply and get a
otherwise you have
grant.
no job.
If they,
Yeah.
if they come to the wrong
Um,
conclusions, they
my
lose their job or they
friends-
lose their funding.
Yeah.
So they
well,
they stick to the
they
easy
keep
path.
Yeah,
a
that's
little
that
bit.
part. Yeah.
friends
but-
basically like claim they cured diabetes, and they were funded by like this huge pharmaceutical company, and basically at the end of their research they just stopped and they were like, well, this isn't profitable, so it's a
Yeah, I
failure,
mean, how are we gonna make a bunch of money if
Oh.
everyone's cured? Who can we sell insulin to, right?
Yeah.
Insulin's the biggest.
Don't have to
money
go to the doctor anymore. Oh, we can't have that.
Yeah, if everyone was
man.
healthy. Yeah. Yeah, man. I truly believe that as well. Like human beings, like we're like God created this world like 90% done, and then He created us, and He's like, "Yo, I'm gonna go make some more stuff. You guys finish it." Like that's the level we're on.
They should have.
Yeah. No, it's like 76%.
Yeah, no, he's gonna come back. He's gonna like, bro, what did you guys do? What did you?
I left you all this stuff to make these wonderful things and do the right
Where
thing,
are
and
the
look, you screwed it up.
Yeah, what did you do to
What
the
did you do with those
dinosaurs?
dinosaurs?
What they look like chicken. What are these little chicken things that you're eating?
Yeah, man, I totally agree. Amazing.
That's actually good.
I told you.
Point
I
of
told you not to
view.
kill each other, and look at what's going on in the world, man.
What
You
would
got
God?
it all
What
wrong.
would God say? If he
God be
saw-
like, oh shit.
What if God was one
I go to vacation for a couple of thousand years and
Yeah, I come back to this.
look what happens.
Thank you, Artific. Thank you. Yeah, that's a really amazing. And thank you guys, everyone.
Yeah.
You're all amazing. Arthur, your turn, my friend. Tell us, like, what's been on your mind? Like, something really interesting.
Oh man, if I just tell you,
Tell me,
so
tell me.
many things. But, yeah, I think so. I think there is much stronger connection between life on Earth and life on Mars. I just kind of like believe that could be very, like it's very probable. I don't know if it was the case, but it's very probable that something between those two planets is, that there might have been life on Mars, and like definitely all the scientific discoveries are there. Whether we want to go into conspiracy theory where like some photos from the rovers, they've been deleted
yeah,
afterwards, but
there's, like,
people
a
downloading
person.
them, and then you see some like crazy structures which just don't make sense. If it would be just a coincidence on Mars suddenly. I would say definitely more and more like thinking about like how was actually our history done like many thousand years ago, and some like of course UFOs like I just think that we've been visited by them, and like for example one of the counter arguments about that is like, for example, Elon Musk always says, look, I don't know anything about UFOs, like if I if they would be here I would probably like know or something. I don't know, I think he's really like making that like lighter, like these arguments on purpose. I don't know why, but I just You know, there's like recently there's a documentary I've learned about, like from Brazil. There was a sighting in Brazil like in 1990, I think, where like they captured even like the live ones, and there's a whole documentary on that. The guy went and like interviewed all the people around and stuff, and like, you know, like when you listen to this, like when some people speak and you look at them into the eyes, like you see that they have zero incentive to lie, and they have all incentive not to tell this, and they still go and tell it because they're not getting rich out of it, they're not getting anything, they're only getting troubles out of it, and still they go and say this kind of things. You have to wonder, you know, like why are they saying this? And another big thing which I'm always thinking about is Nikola Tesla and his inventions, because I do believe that we might have, you know, a different path of technology if we would just know some things, and we might just be using some stuff we're using today, because like the whole petrol thing, like that's just, you know, we could have like all the cars in 1905 were electric, or like 80% of the cars on the roads were electric, and it made sense obviously because they're quieter, they're better, they're you know, there's just like nobody liked gasoline cars because they were so like noisy and stinky and stuff. I mean, they still are until today, honestly. Yes, became more efficient, blah blah blah, of course, but come on, like we already have today the cars which can drive 1,000 kilometers on one charge, electric cars. Like they're being sold as a normal cars in China, and we're like 20 years into this technology, maybe even less. We're like 15 years into this technology. Imagine what we would have done if we would be developing this for 100 years. Like we would have been having flying planes on the electricity is no problem. I mean, it's possible. We know it. So I think like I'm listening to, or I'm kind of thinking about Nikola Tesla a lot, and I think there's a bunch of things we don't know. Like I've, you know, also the guy who had an engine which ran on water, like not hydrogen, but just on
and
water.
they killed him.
Like, and then it was bought out, and like the patents were like, you know, hidden from people. Like what the hell, you know? This kind of things when you think about it. So definitely a lot of
A lot of
interesting things which just kind of keep in the back of my mind. And regarding UFOs, like, you know, one of the biggest arguments is like if one country would had an accident of UFO, I always say like, yeah, but maybe the other country, like let's say if USA had something they knew, that Russia would always call them out, or China would call them out. The problem is like they might not know, or, you know, it's all like politics, and they might like the current political establishment cannot, you know. And I also think a lot of times that, like the whole system, for example, we take US as an example, the whole system of changing power, on one hand it's correct that no one should be too long in the power. On the other hand, it doesn't allow country and society to progress as fast as possible, just because there's so much like politics, and by changing this, it's just kind of like a game which keeps us distracted from the important things. It's just like this whole thing is just a game which and we will see, like again, we will see that countries who might have a more stable long-term how it's called,
plan.
Sorry, what?
Like a plan, long-term.
No, yeah, I mean like plan, but more stable government officials, like who are there not for 4 years or 2 years, but who are there for 20 years, for example, they all achieve better results economically, like in technologically. But whether we want to achieve, like it's, you know, admit it or not, but that's the case. And so I think again, it's kind of like this whole thing. I don't want to call it a conspiracy, but it's the way how the society now works, that every like 2 years or 4 years someone needs to change, and there's like a battle. Like, you know, the political game in the US is just crazy, because you have every 4 years there's a presidential election, but they already start 2 years before, and it's just like people are being like sucked into this whole discussion, which is completely nonsense, and nobody does nothing else than just do, you know, just this. So yeah, it's a lot of kind of thoughts like this, that we could have been much more efficient as human beings if we would not be distracted by all the things, either on purpose or by accident. And I think it's on
purpose. That's on Hegelian
I believe it's on purpose too.
dialectics.
But
Control
if
the
you know,
left,
it's a
control
very
the
dark.
right.
If it's a very dark path, if I start believing that, like, if we start kind of discussing it, it's a very, very bad moment. If we say, okay, we're being fed all those things
We
on
are,
purpose.
but we are though, you know. Like
Yeah, but
it's-
what's the why and what's the truth then? You know,
So
it's very
like
dark.
it makes me think of this quote: "The world is a cold, dark, lonely place, and I have learned to say, so be it." You know, this is just how the world is. Like, you know, it's full of
Sure.
But what
And
we
we
were
should- we
talking
should-
about recently, all the polarities and stuff. It's like if it's dark, cold, and lonely, then it's also abundant and, you know, communal and
There you
like
go.
there's so
yeah.
many things
That's what I'm
that
talking
we
about, yeah.
are just all evolving, like the negative as well as the positive. So we just
Yeah.
need to stay balanced in our perspective and
Yeah.
not be swayed left or right or just be realistic and do what's within our power. That's where our energy is most powerful, right? So
Yes.
so there's no point worrying, and
Yeah.
no matter, because you know, if we're on the right path, no one can sway us away
Yeah.
from that, you know. We're-
Amen.
Of course we're finite beings and we're all going to expire, but you know, I do believe in some sort of
Somnium
destiny.
Space will solve
right?
that.
Yes.
This forever mode is coming.
Yeah.
Nobody will
There you go.
expire. I'll make sure that nobody
We'll
expires.
be gods
Okay?
forever.
Your thoughts will live here forever.
All right, it's my turn.
And you are
now.
laughing,
That's
but
a
by the end of
scary
this
thought.
year, we're launching this
Yeah.
feature. So
Cool. I
don't be
can't.
laughing.
I can't wait to meet all your AI duplicates. You know, it's interesting. You know, in Islam, it makes me think. In Islam, right, there are these beings called jinn, and if you look at it, the etymology, the actual word jinn, it actually means unseen. So they're just like unseen beings. And it kind of goes back to like Greco ideas about people have a daemon that follows them. We have the same kind of thing, like a doppelganger that kind of follows you. And in reality, it's the voice in your head, right? It's the person talking to you all the time, but it's just a different way of kind of describing it. And yeah, it makes me think of that constant companion. And like you have to train him, right? Because if you do good things, you'll train him to do, you know, to give you good ideas. But if you do bad things, then he'll give you bad ideas.
Yeah.
So I think like if we, you know what I mean? It's like
My
it's the
AI
same
will be
thing.
the best
like,
AI ever. You know.
when we have like
Like,
our
very polite
AI
all the time.
recording stuff, whatever we do is what people will see of us forever. That's a legacy. Like, you know, you gotta like start to like think about what you're gonna
I
do.
mean, that's
and
how I
stuff.
feel when I post on Authenticity. I mean, can you imagine like you're posting something which will be there forever? Like this is like every post you do, you have to like think
That's why
quite
I
a
quit
bit.
posting.
Yo, did you see my memes that I posted on Authenticity?
Of course.
Dude, I love them.
I don't want my stuff to be on the blockchain
Hey,
forever.
what's up, King? That's
I
King
say
in
stupid
trading, you're
stuff.
Trying to build a Lego. It shows these buff guys.
No, I love it. Like I don't know. Like Authenticity always like gives me a good vibe when I click mint and it just like posts and it just appears there and there's like link to this.
Yeah, it's
post,
like-
to this
I
blockchain
did
thing.
it.
It's just a great feeling. Like you're like, man,
Like
I
an
just posted
accomplishment.
something which is there forever. Like that's it. You know, it's.
Well, what if you change your mind 2 days from now?
Too bad, bro.
No, but you can
Life's
if
tough.
you change
And
your
what you
mind.
wrote's totally
no,
wrong.
No, wait a second. If you change your mind, quote your posts and write a new one and say you change your mind.
Oh, okay.
That's the whole point. Like we should not be embarrassed of changing
Yeah.
our mind. It's okay
Hell
to
yeah.
change our
No.
mind.
Yeah.
It's absolutely okay to have a like if we learn on the way to the path, that's good. So I don't see any problem in like having something and then change it. Like, you should not be changing the mind every day, like on the same topic. But like if you change your mind, explain to others why you change your mind, have this public debate, and then it's fine. Like I don't see a big problem in this. I don't see any problem with that actually. I think it's great. So yeah.
Amen.
It's,
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
fine
you,
to evolve.
Arthur.
It's fine to
yeah.
evolve.
Keep your mind open. Question everything. Elon Musk knows everything about the aliens. That's why he's being able to build the rockets. They're giving him the technology. I knew it.
No, that's fine. That's
No,
no,
he's
he
the
knows
alien.
something.
He comes
knows
here
He's a representative.
first, and he would know
he
that
knows
if
he
they
knows
are
something
here
about
because,
Mars.
they
He
would
knows
call
something
him,
about Mars.
"Hey,
That's why he
Elon,
wants
how
to
are
go
you
there.
doing?"
They
He's
better
like,
give him
I'm
some
trying to
better
go
technology
home.
then, man.
Elon wants home.
No, I think so. My theory about
Alright, yeah,
Elon,
that's why he's building his
like my
rocket.
theory about Elon, like
Yeah, he
I
parked on
think
Mars
he,
and he can't get back to his Earth.
Yeah.
my theory about Elon is like he knows something, and because he knows something, he takes life lightly. Because he knows that he has much more important goal, and he wants to, like, why does he want to go to Mars so much? You know, like I understand multiplanetary, blah blah, but maybe, just maybe, there's something more important than
Yeah.
just being multiplanetary for him there. You know, maybe there's some bigger like things. Who knows? Anyways,
Yeah, well,
what
that's
I wanted to
crazy,
say
bro.
is, on Authenticity this week, most probably we'll launch the new feature, which is called Super Posts. You'll be able to allow people. You'll be able to like put the price tag on the post, and only people who pay that price tag will see that post.
Cool.
So you will be able to like charge people for seeing the post, and you'll be able to tease it, and then people will pay to see. It's kind of like if you have an exclusive content, if you have an article you've written, and you want people to,
Nice.
you want to entice your content, you can do that.
That's awesome,
Oh,
bro.
cool.
Yeah. Radical. Woo.
I'll
I
post
love
some
it.
exclusive pictures of the upcoming headset. Boom. Under paywall.
Ooh.
Bam.
Nice.
All your money will belong to me. Even before the headset will release.
So wait. We need to like. If I wanted to see a post, I would be giving you auth, right? It would be just considered.
Correct. So me as a creator, I'll be able to say I want for this post, for people to say I want to like them to pay 500 auth or 50 auth or whatever, and then to see it, you will see that this is super post. You will see the title super post, but everything else will be blurred, and you'll have to pay for it.
Cool.
So the message will be like somehow encrypted, so no one can see it
Correct.
on blockchain.
Correct. Only those who are will be able to will get
Awesome.
Cool.
will get access to the message.
Wow.
Nice.
And what's the minimum amount I can put for a post?
I think like will be probably like 100 auth or something like that.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of like doing all my posts for like 2 auth.
Yeah, exactly because of this kind of abuse, we put 100 minimum. Okay. Smart.
Awesome. Yo, awesome. Woo. Thank you, Arthur.
All right,
Thank
everybody.
you. All right, guys. I'm gonna
New show in Somnium Space. New streams. We'll have a joke battles. Okay.
Yeah.
Joke battles.
The joke battles.
Two people standing next to each other, and then one reads the joke. If other laughs, then the other one reads one joke, and like who will tell more jokes and who will laugh more. That's the new battle with the new weekly stream we'll do.
Let's do it.
I'm
Awesome.
preparing it.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna
Fun.
tell you about like what I've been thinking about, and it kind of like meshes with like everything that you guys have been speaking about. I've been thinking a lot about electromagnetic fields, right? And I've been thinking about leylands, like those leylands, like they're like specific parts in the earth, like the pyramids, where there seems to be some energy, right? And if we like think about what the definition of an electromagnetic field is, everything is vibratory, right? So it's just something vibrating at a specific frequency, right? And we, as human beings, are also vibrating at a frequency, right? Like I think maybe the frequency of light, you know what I mean? Like we're in a frequency, right? So what if like demons and stuff are actually electromagnetic beings, and they're actually like going through our technology and chat, and they're like manipulating, they're like using technology as a portal to get themselves into our world, because they're electromagnetic beings.
That's a scary thought.
Ooh,
Could be.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about that.
That's a
Like,
scary thought.
like, you know, like what's going on, man? Like, yo, you know, what if like when you speak with AI, it's being manipulated, you know, through electromagnetic beings. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about, guys. Like, you know, like what if they're trying to get in through technology? Because if we exist, right, there are so many other things that must also exist. We can't, like, everything is vibration. And maybe these things aren't evil, but they're more like the Cthulhu elder gods. Like, you know, they don't really care about human beings, but they just kind of want to, like, feed off of us. Anyway, yeah, that's what I've been thinking about lately. So I don't know. Yeah. What do you guys think? Ghosts in the machine? Ghosts.
Have you heard of
Could be.
EVP?
Could it be?
Who?
Electronic voice phenomena?
Yeah, you
Are
showed
you
me
familiar
that.
with that?
Where there's like.
Yeah, well, you can communicate with something somehow because I've tried it and had some pretty scary results, but a lot of people have done it. It's so simple. You just take a recorder of any kind and you talk as if you're talking to someone, and sometimes you get answers, replies. It's really really strange.
So
It-
what if
it
it's
works.
real? What if it's real? What do we do? What do we do? How can we protect
no, I
ourselves
think-
from
I
these
mean-
things? Artific, I'm asking you, bro.
You need to buy a plane, find an island, fly there, jump out of the plane, don't forget the parachute, and live on the island. And you will be fine.
Yeah, Jesus. That's pretty extreme, bro. I think I'll just deal with the demons by fortifying our mind. I think that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
Just make ourselves stronger, and then we can resist it. Build ourselves up. Because we're not going to run away.
That's what they hope for.
Oh. So they're like- yeah. So yeah, thanks, guys. I think also, like, how you were speaking about ancient structures and stuff in the past. I think that was all using the knowledge they had about electromagnetism, and like all these different channels and fields that surround us, that our modern day we have this we look at the world as if it's made of pieces, like Lego blocks, when I don't think the ancients saw it like that. So yeah, maybe we've lost
Just
that,
to go
that
beyond science,
understanding.
I think it's going back to like what you said. It's something about like the power of our mind that we don't have anymore. Some connection with nature or something that's like very lost now.
Oh yeah,
Because it
we've
can't
let a
just
lot
be
of our
physics.
mind.
Because man, we know more about physics than, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
modern technology. And
Do you
all
think
that.
it was the pineal gland?
Experiment already.
Do you think like remember how I was saying like there's like a signal and we're like a TV? Do you think it's the pineal gland? Is that where the signal is being received? Like, cause like, it controls our wake and sleep.
It's true.
Do you think maybe because
You
they've
hear things
calcified?
about like like your pineal gland being calcified because of fluoride and whatever stuff like that. These stories how to decalcify your pineal gland because it's all fucked up now or something.
Yo, you guys want to know who also used to put fluoride in the water? You want to know who? Does anyone know? The Nazis. The Nazis used to put fluoride in the water of concentration camp victims because it made them docile and submissive. This is true. This is 100% true. And then you actually look at
Man,
the
you
history.
you should post all of these things on Authenticity, man.
Yeah, I should. I should make a writing.
And I'm not even joking right now.
Yeah, I think I will. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. And then, bro, think
like
about
make
it like this.
articles after articles.
They started to actually put fluoride in the water after World War II, when what happened? Project Paperclip, when the Nazis lost, and then there was this huge fight about trying to get the scientists. As soon as the scientists came over to America, boom, fluoride in the water, baby.
Yeah, boom,
Coincidence?
fluoride.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know. You cannot say boom anymore. When you want to say a bigger impact, you have to say ba-bam,
Ba-bam.
ba-bam.
But bam, baby. Yeah, let's wake up, guys. Let's wake up. It's time to save the world, guys.
Yeah, man, I'm looking
It's time to
forward
save
to
the
your... make it a conspiracy theory like blog posts.
Yeah, I
Like
should.
one at a
honestly.
time.
I
Mint
need
them.
to
I'll
write
beg them,
these
man. I'll beg hell out
down,
of this.
This is I need to write things down. It's really important.
Yeah, use ChatGPT to put your thoughts together and then just write the article.
Yeah.
And you'll get some Nazis on there going, no, that's not true. That's not true at all. We were
And you'll
trying
be
to
like,
help people.
Try to delete that, bruh.
I dare you, bro.
We were helping people to death. That's what we were doing.
You can back me. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Exactly. That's all you can do, man. You can back me. Too bad.
Radical. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Really, really inspiring stories, thoughts, opinions, and ideas. Looking forward to more amazing stuff here in the Somnium space. Woo! Yeah, yo, photo. We need to take a group photo.
Jokes
Group
tomorrow.
photo.
Jokes tomorrow.
Yeah,
jokes
we
battle.
Jokes
Get ready.
battle. Yo, gonna have it
Prepare
prepared and
prepare
everything.
10 best jokes you can find or you can make up, whatever.
10.
And
What?
It's a
and
competition.
then we'll be battling.
Yo, check this out, guys. Yo, the gnome, right? The gnome. Yo,
Yeah.
it's described by so many different subset of people in Europe who speak completely
I know.
different languages, but they all describe the same entity. I think gnomes are real. I think these guys gnomes
Same
are
with
100%.
fairies.
Yeah, these guys are real, walking around.
I need to run, guys.
All right,
Gnomes
yeah,
are
yeah.
real.
Peace.
And fluoride makes us
Wait,
submissive,
wait,
alright?
hold,
See ya.
wait,
Whoa,
Arthur.
Whoa,
Picture. Picture with the gnome, group photo, guys. Yo, get it there, get it there, get it
Okay.
there. Woo!
Smile,
Hold on,
gnome,
let me just
smile.
lock El Camerino. Locked and loaded, baby. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Yeah! The Somnium Show, baby. Woo! Question everything.
I've been here.
Bam! Awesome,
Exactly.
thanks, guys.
No
And
stones
thank
will be
you,
untouched.
wonderful
Always
viewers,
wrong.
for tuning in
Thanks,
to
come
another
on.
wonderful episode of the Somnium Show. We hope to see you next week with all this wonderful and awesome people, baby. Woo! Doo-doo-doo.
All right, guys.
Woohoo.
See you tomorrow.